There you go.
So, hi there, welcome back to True Gooner. I'm back on Hangouts here. I'm here with Kenny. Ken, how you doing?
I'm all good, mate. How are you? You all
Yeah,
good?
good, thank you. Got the ticket right here. Getting ready to go to the game tomorrow, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So, first of all, you going to the game?
Yes, I'm going to the game. I'm in the, unlike you, I'm in the lower tier, so I'm going to have I'm going to be near the further ground. I'm in row 13, and I'm right behind the goal. So it's no different to where I was in the cup final. In the cup final, I was in the front row against Chelsea, and in the semi-final against Manchester City, I was near the front. But so I won't be very disappointed at all.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's talk about the game now in general. So, how are you feeling going into the game? Are you confident you think you can win?
We've got every chance to win. It's a cup game. It's a one-off game. Like we got from very good players, especially in attacking areas. Play, and but the problem we've got is that our players are not all on form. They're very inconsistent. Like there's two Arsenals. There's the Arsenal that plays in the Emirates, and the Arsenal that plays away from home.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of this final is the fact that you got Man City. You know what you're going to get. They're a fantastic team. They're the best team in the country, if not the best team in Europe, in my opinion. So we're complete and utter underdogs tomorrow.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
the thing about it is that we're not so much on underdogs as Wigan were when they played them on Monday, where I thought Wigan. If you don't want me to sound a bit controversial, I thought Wigan got helped by the referee. I think it was 11-11. I think that
It was a
Wigan.
red card, in my opinion. I do
Well,
think that
I
was a
think
red
the
card.
thing, the problem is that I haven't seen them given, and the referee's made a mistake because what he's done is he's got the yellow card out and he's writing the guy's name down, Del's name down there. For a referee to say that that wasn't the case is purely
The thing is, he actually had a yellow in his hand,
yeah,
and he changed
yeah.
it to red.
And that's the thing. It wasn't a red card. I think that the Wigan manager Paul Cook had a lot to do with it. He disisolated with the fourth official, and what's happening is that I think that influenced the referee. But even then, Man City, I think with if they ran out of steam, I think they got a bit knackered because when you're playing 10 against 11, and Wigan got the extra man. I think in terms of Man City's energy levels were kind of affected, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I think that's what echoed the outcome. And I thought Wigan just got a lucky break, got the goal, and what's happened is that the energy that Man City had transformed to Wigan to the extent that because Wigan had something to hold, they made themselves difficult to beat.
yeah, definitely. And you know what? I've actually got kind of a bad feeling. I hope I'm proved wrong about that. I seriously think that Wigan's win was the worst thing that could have happened because I do actually seriously got a bad feeling they could be really, really, really more fired up for this because of that happened. But or we could also go the other way. It could completely flatten them, not their confidence a bit, and they could have another bad performance due to that. What do you reckon? Do you see it? Do you see any of that happening due to that result?
Well, I think the thing about it is that Man City can be very focused, but one thing that Man City haven't got is that they haven't got a recognised left back. Remember that Mendy's out on a
Yeah,
long-term crucial injury. He's played Delph there because I think Delph's very good on the ball, and he's probably got a little bit of defence discipline as a left back. And now Delph's suspended. He's now got to play Danilo, who hasn't had much football, especially in the big games. So I think that if Arsenal are going to win that game, they've got to look down that area, down the right-hand side, and look to sort of attack Danilo, and that's why probably we probably need to double up with Hector Bellerin. But that's just another tactical, like I said, idea I have. But there are other ideas that that we could use tomorrow. But it's going to be very fascinating in that respect. But answering to your question about Man City, you know what? They're such a superb side, and you know what's happening is that it's they'll put it down as a blip, and they're still going to have players going to hurt us.
oh, absolutely. They've got talented. Yeah,
they've got players like Sterling. They got
Sterling,
Sane.
not Sterling because apparently he's doubtful.
Is he doubtful?
Yeah,
What?
Sterling and Jesus are very doubtful, but
I hope that's true because, like I said, if they're fit, then I'm going very scared because Sterling has scored 20 League and Cup goals this season, and
he's done very well. Guardiola's really got the best out of him.
Well, the thing is, Sterling's always been a fantastic player since the age of 15 when he left Queen's Park Rangers to go to Liverpool. I don't understand this hysteria and criticism he gets when he puts an England shirt because he's one of their brightest talents. He's one of the best.
He didn't do well in
the country.
He didn't do well.
Yeah, but no one did well in the Euros. You've got to remember the English season is a very hot season.
Yeah,
you know, they don't have a midwinter break and they play on heavy pitches towards the end of the season. So, you got to look at English football, the intensity of the games that we play in this country. It's highly likely that players are going to go there tired. You know, you look at the World Cup, Harry Kane is going to be knackered. All their players are going to be knackered because we don't know how to prepare our players properly for, you know, like I said, for these tournaments. We're more concerned with the clubs.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned you were talking going on about players that you fear. Obviously, the more I fear is the likes of Aguero and De Bruyne and Silva, and even have Carl Walker at the back, because most of their goals have come from Carl Walker coming down. And
well, definitely, and I think what's happened is that the reason why City are able to do that is because City they overload in terms of like when they get numbers going forward, they overload like the opposition's back fours and their midfields. And I think what Pep's done is that he's got a team that can attack from any area of the pitch. And when I mean any area, I mean any area. And that's why Pep was very sort of insistent on getting like I said, Ederson in goal because he wants a goalkeeper who can kick. Because I think what managers like Pep want to do, they want to start attacks from like I said, from virtually their goal line. So having a goalkeeper who's very good with his feet is very important. And I think that's why he originally got Claudio Bravo, who's going to be playing tomorrow, because he's very good with his feet as opposed to poor old Joe Hart. But I think that's one thing we've got to worry about is that any area of the pitch, Man City can start an attack because all you've got to do is Fernandinho holds the sort of defence and midfield together. But one thing he can do, he can make runs into and ghosting into our defence, and also he can give the ball to De Bruyne who can hurt us. You've got David Silva, you've got Bernardo Silva, you've got Sane making his runs off the free balls, you've got Sterling, and you've got Aguero as well. So I've named probably 6 or 7 players that can kill us and win games on their own. That's how good Man City are.
Definitely, and I even actually think they've got better at the back because before last season you would say they were very good up front, but they're very weak at the back. But I seriously think them signing the likes of Laporte. I think he's a brilliant player. And
absolutely. I think
Company, Stones, Otamendi, Walker.
Yeah. Well, I think with players like Laporte and Company, they love defending. They actually love defending. They're proper defenders. So I like defenders who are pessimistic, who not just sense danger, they envisage danger. I think Arsene, when he buys players, he tends to want defenders who are good on the ball, and then he wants them to be able to defend. I think if you're a defender, first and foremost, you're there to protect your goalkeeper, protect your team, and if in doubt, go into Rosette. The last thing you should be thinking about when you're trying to get a defender is whether he's good on the ball or not. That should be the least of your worries. But I think Arsene Wenger, he tends to go the other way around. He wants players who are good defenders. He doesn't want defenders who attack the ball. And I think that's the problem we have, especially when you got players like, Koscielny, very pacey. But as you well know, and I've said to you before, if you put a defender on Koscielny, on Koscielny's shoulder, he struggles.
Definitely,
he's not an out-and-out defender.
Yeah. How would you set up for Arsenal? What team would you go? Would you go the 3 at the back? Because some people have said we should go with 3 at the back, or would you stick with the back 4? How would you go?
No. So I think you've got to go 3 at the back. You got to go 3 at the back because I think what's happening is that you want to give your midfielders protection, because if you play a back 4, then what happens, right, is that one of your creative midfielders has to do a job that's not alien to him. For instance, if you must play a back 4, then you've got to have a holding midfielder. We don't have a holding midfielder. We don't have a Coquelin anymore.
No, we don't.
So if we played like a back 5, then what will happen is that when we don't have the ball, the wing backs can sort of get in line with the three centre halves, make it a back five, and then what's happened is that two of the midfielders can just sort of get in behind, and then what will happen? We'll have a 7 plus a goalkeeper, and then you've got opposition teams have got to get past 8 players. But with a back 4, you're having a situation where 2 of our midfielders don't know whether to bomb on or hold, and I think that's why I think we've got to play with back 5.
It's very important that our players know when to move, to drop.
Well, I've seen loads of formations where play a back 5, but in terms of midfield, I've heard people talking about Xhaka, Ramsey, and Wilshere, and I can understand why people want to do that. Because for me, if I was to play those 3 in the midfield, I'll say to Aaron Ramsey, "You bomb on at every opportunity and support the attackers. We don't need you to hold, because what can happen is that Jack and Granit can take turns into hold the play and do basically Ramsey's defending for him. So in that respect, that's a very positive formation if you play those 3 in midfield. And then you've got Mesut as well, who's just in front of Ramsey as well. We could link up the play. And I think what you want to do in that respect is that you don't want Mesut to come into the midfield and start creating chances from deep. That's not where he plays his best football. You want Mesut in the last third, or probably not so much the last third, maybe 50 yards from goal, where he can run on or make a little pass and then run off one of the forwards and then goes into the penalty area. And I think that's where we play our best football. And that's why that formation, I very much like that formation with that has been muted by a lot of Arsenal fans on Twitter and other parts of social media. A back 5, Jack, Ramsey, and Xhaka, and then you have Aubameyang, and then you have Ozil. So you kind of do it 2 ways. You load up in terms of like when Man City have the ball, you make sure you're very compact, but when we're attacking, you'll have more numbers, because worst thing you could do against one of the big teams like Man City is that when you do attack, you've got about one player against about 5 defenders, or 3 or 4 defenders. I mean,
we can't have that.
And that's why you have to be positive as well. And then by playing those 3 in the midfield, you can get Ramsey and Ozil up the field when we're in the attack.
Yeah, I actually totally agree with you there, because I also don't think we can possibly play the same way as Wigan, because Wigan totally locked it down. I don't think we can do that, because City are also very good at breaking teams down, because look at the teams they've broken down.
And one thing about Man City you've got to realise as well is that they're very good at pressing teams as well when they don't have the ball. Yeah, I think what the thing with Man City is that they don't sort of mark you, but what they do is when they lose the ball, they're getting amongst you, and then what happens is that they block the spaces and the areas where you can pass to another player. So, for instance, if you try to pass back your goalkeeper, you've got a Man City forward like Aguero, he's on you. Try to play forward, you've got De Bruyne, Silva, all in around you, trying to basically cramp up the space in order to play players. One thing about pressing teams like Man City is that if you get past the press, you get straight at back 4. And I think that Arsenal got to look to do that in that sort of formation, is that City will press you, but you've got to look to get over the press, which means your passing has to be precise. You've got to make sure that your runs you make are very precise, that you're on the same wavelength as the guy who's trying to create for you, and mix up a bit. You don't necessarily have to play on the floor. You can play, like I said, through balls around the side of the fullbacks, or go long. Nothing wrong with going long. You go long, you're at that back, you're straight at that back forward. Mix up a bit. You don't have to always play per on the ground, because I've seen, you look at Spurs, they're a typical team that likes to press. But if we got past their press in the last 5 minutes at Wembley, we're straight at that back 4. And I think that's what you need to be looking at doing, is getting that City's back 4 and getting them defending. Not enough teams, in my opinion, have managed to get City defending. The only team that's got them defended is Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely.
And what Liverpool did is that they got past City's press and got straight at their back 4. And by getting straight at their back 4, what they did very well was that they had runners off them. And I think that's one of the things that we need to look at.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely very important that we do all that and know when to drop, know when to press, and know how to defend. And do you seriously think this game will be won on who defends well or in the midfield? Where do you think this game will be?
It's definitely. I think it's been definitely one in midfield because I think what's happening is that Man City are going to be um, looking to win the midfield battle. So Fernandinho is be very important in terms of like winning the battles and giving the ball to better players like the Bronya or one of the Silva men, either Bernardo Silva or David Silva. What the onus is Man City getting control of possession, but control not just control of possession, but control of the territory as well. To the extent that when they, because I think what Man City do very well, when someone is on the ball, the other players in front of them know that they've got to move now. They know the ball's coming their way. So what they do is that they create the spaces and make runs off defenders. And it's very difficult to mark. It's very difficult to mark because Sane knows that the Bronya is going to find him. And then when Sane's got the ball, it gives people like Sterling and Aguero, the impetus to get into the middle and get it straight out of back four. So it's going to be very difficult for us to stop City from doing that.
Oh, absolutely, of course.
But what we're going to have to do is that we need to, rather than trying to sit back and let this happen, we've got to try and grab the initiative ourselves in that game because that's the only way I can see us winning the game is we grab the initiative, try and control the tempo of the game, and then when we get that back four, we need to hurt them because it's no good trying to play. We're not good enough to play the sort of game that we played against Chelsea in the semi-final because I think against Chelsea in the semi-final, it was the only match winners that I thought they had was probably Hazard, maybe Willian at a push.
Yeah, and I agree.
Willian at a push, that's two players. But if you look at, and Dennis Wise actually emphasised that as well, but against Man City, we've got 6 or 7 players to try and stop. So by trying to play that conservative way of playing, it's not going to work in our favour. I think it'll be more destructive rather than constructive.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree with you again there. And I'm going to be very honest with you. In my match preview that I did earlier, I went to the 4 at the back, and I actually went with and I couldn't believe I did this because I actually went with Ozil and Danny Welbeck.
Nothing wrong with that.
Behind Bamiyang.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not Welbeck's biggest fan.
You don't have to.
The thing is, I think his work rate is
exactly
actually quite good behind the ball, and he'll give you pace. I just don't want him being the main striker.
He doesn't have to make brother. But at the end of the day, it's very plausible what you're saying because, ideally, Arsene would like to play with him. But what's happened is that Arsene has to probably play with a 5 because he wants to give players like Xhaka and Jack Wilshere and Ramsey protection. In that way, what he wants to do is to take away as many defensive responsibilities as he can from those players because he wants them to be on the offensive. So I get that's where Arsene wants to play. Personally, I think that if they were coached better, then he wouldn't have to have a situation where he's got to protect them from their defensive duties because as footballers, they should be able to. That should be natural to them when they're at the ball. But our footballers ain't like that. But in terms of what you're saying, playing Danny Welbeck, there's no doubt that Arsene Wenger will consider playing Danny Welbeck. It'll be like kind of ridiculous for us as fans to overlook that fact. You only have to look at his performances in the FA Cup final last year. He was probably one of our best players in that game. And what he did is that he not only was his work rate, but he had a goal threat where his pace scared the life out of Chelsea. And it's highly likely that, if he gets chosen today, I don't think it will let us down. But one thing Danny does have is quite a lack of confidence at the moment. Before he got injured early in the season, he was on fire. But
yeah, definitely.
It's a different
at the start of the season, he actually played some good stuff.
So, you're back 4, nothing wrong with that. But I just think that if you're going to play a team like Man City, you're going to want to give your, like I said, you want to give your midfielders a bit of protection. You want to sort of strip them of defensive duties, which they're no good at anyway.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. And also, we've only ever won this competition twice, in 1987 where we beat Liverpool in the final, and 1993 where we beat Sheffield Wednesday in the final. Now, obviously, it was before my time because I was born in '94. But do you remember those days very well?
I remember Liverpool Day very well. In 1987, I was a young lad. Like I said, I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the day out of Wembley. I remember everything. And one of the things I do remember is that Liverpool were one of the best teams in a country, and it was basically them and Everton were vying for the league. And there was a situation where Liverpool had a player called Ian Rush, and every time Ian Rush scored, Liverpool never lost. So Liverpool went 1-0 up, and then what's happening is that as a football fan, you think, oh dear, oh no, we could lose this, because they never lost when Ian Rush scored. But Charlie Nicholas got a goal just before half time, and within about 7 minutes or 10 minutes left, Perry Groves outstripped Ronnie Whelan and put it through to Charlie Nicholas, and the deflection went past Grobbler. We won, and it was the first time that Liverpool lost a game in which Ian Rush scored. The game in '93 was one of those games where that season we were very much the cup side. I think, and league form was pathetic. And if you serve me right, we scored only 38 goals in the league that season, and it's probably the lowest lowest total for a big one of the lowest totals in all 4 divisions. That's how bad things were at Arsenal. Football that season under George was quite turgid, but we managed to get to 2 cup finals, both beating Sheffield Wednesday. One in the League Cup final, actually. Sheffield Wednesday actually went 1-0 up through John Hartson. Great goal.
John Hartson.
Yeah, John Hartson, fantastic. And then Paul Merson scored a great volley, and then you had a situation in the last few minutes when Steve Morrow got the winner. And
was that the one we broke his arm?
Yeah, Tony Adams got a bit. Yeah, I think Tony Adams got a bit over-exuberant, and then the poor lad broke his collarbone. So he wasn't he wasn't able to go and get his medal, but he got his medal. He actually got his medal in the cup final, where when he went up the steps just before the match to get his medal, because he did, because they wanted to give him that sort of that 39 steps kind of like routine. So it was a game. It was a mixed game, but I thought we were probably better than Sheffield Wednesday that day. Then obviously in the cup final where we had to beat them after a replay. But I think Sheffield Wednesday must have been fed up with the sight of Arsenal that season.
Yeah, and obviously since then we've not won the competition, but we have memorably got to 2 finals. The one where we lost against Chelsea when Theo Walcott scored his first ever goal for the club. And then we actually put out our youngsters against Chelsea's first team.
Worst decision, one of the worst seasons.
It was, because even I thought, because I remember watching this game downstairs in here, and I thought, why? What are you doing? I knew we were not going to win that because of that.
You said how felt. We got up early in the morning, got to the Arsenal, we got to the Emirates Stadium on our coaches. You're chatting, you're amongst mates, you go to the pubs in Cardiff, you sing songs, having your beers. You get to the ground and you see the lineup and you just deflated. And you just look at Chelsea's lineup, they played their best team.
It was like their best team, yeah.
Drogba, Lampard, Terry, Robben, checking goal, Carvalho. I mean, and then we had youngsters in the team, and I just thought this is the most self-indulgent decision ever. And by that time, I was very much an Arsene Wenger devotee at the time. But I think that's probably when the first cracks for me started of Arsene Wenger. I was still behind him after we lost. I was still behind him a lot after we lost that game, and even the season afterwards, when we played fantastic football and didn't win the league, I was still very much behind him. Yeah, it was only the season afterwards, after where I thought that we were getting absolutely murdered by the big guns.
Yeah, that was the season when we got kicked out of the Champions League.
Yeah, and then when we lost the Champions League semi-final against Man United, that was it. I had enough. I thought, this guy's got to go. Because at that time, my beef with Arsene was the fact that I couldn't see him win the league and outwitting his rivals tactically, because I couldn't see him outwitting a Chelsea manager, a Man City manager, Man United manager, or a Liverpool manager at that time. And I've been proved right.
Yeah, you have very much been proved right. And then a couple of seasons later, I'm sorry that I have to bring back these
Not
horrible
nothing wrong with
memories.
that.
We hadn't won anything for so long. Then we drew Birmingham, and not every fan was like, "Oh right, we're definitely going to win something." But then, and
The
then
thing about
that was a game Fabregas didn't
no,
play.
it's interesting. You
Walcott
know,
was out.
no. What happened with Fabregas is Fabregas got injured a few days before because it was
At the
at home.
training, or was that the
No, no. We played a game against Stoke.
yeah for 1-0.
1-0, and Fabregas got a knock, and it was a race of time for him to get to the final. And even Robin van Persie was doubtful for
Yeah,
that
he
game as
was
well
doubtful because he got
because
injured after he scored the goal.
he got injured before. So I remember him, and even when he scored the equaliser, he actually injured himself. So,
Yeah, he did. The
so
way he
if
landed.
memory serves me right, I think we had Barcelona a few days later in the. I think we had a
Not
game.
the same week. We had Leighton Orient that same week.
Leighton Orient. We had Leighton Orient that
then
game.
It was Barcelona.
Then a week after was Barcelona, so it was a race against time to get Robin fit. But one thing I do remember is that Birmingham started really quickly, and they actually started. The first half, I thought they had a better side, and they deserved to actually go 1-0 up. I think it was Zigic or something.
Yeah, Zigic.
Zigic got there, and then Robin. Robin got the equaliser, and then we had the situation between Koscielny and Szczesny that I'll never forget.
It was ridiculous. When Arsenal are very like that, we're very prone to that all the time.
One thing I do remember is that I was in the gods at Wembley, and as soon as the ball went to Martins, you just heard a massive groan, and then what happened is you could see a few Arsenal fans just saying, "See you later," and they walked out. And then obviously I stayed to the final whistle because anything could happen. And I'll tell you, it was one of those things where you just don't know how you lost that game. And because I think
Ben Foster and Roger Johnson had a blind.
Well, it's funny to say that because I was behind the goal.
Amazing performance.
Yeah, but you say about Roger Johnson. Roger Johnson had cramp during that game, and he was out on his feet.
Like he did.
No. Well, I was behind him, right, and I could see him in my own eyes. He had cramp during that game. And he was out on his feet. And the minute Martin scored, he must have had the most miraculous recovery I've ever seen because he was jumping up and down. And when the final whistle went, all of a sudden the cramp left him. He ran towards the centre circle and started hugging anyone in a blue shirt. And our memories League Cup Arsene Wenger is 2 own goals. I think he scored 2 own goals as far as I'm concerned. In terms of his team selection against Chelsea, and the game with them on a platter. Yeah. And I think just thought, he actually played a very strong side in the final. I think throughout the competition in 2011, he was actually playing strong teams. I think he played some very strong teams all the way through the competition. And I think
Newcastle, Wigan, then Ipswich.
And the reason I think he played strong sides is because I think the 5 years without winning a trophy was probably too unacceptable.
It's far too long.
Far too long. But,
yeah.
So I think you got to give Arsenal credit. He did actually try to win that competition. Didn't try to win the FA Cup though, but he did have a go at the League Cup because he probably thought that would be easy to win. Unfortunately, he played Birmingham, who actually got relegated that season as well.
Yeah, I know they did.
Which is ironic.
And this reminds me similar now that this could be our only chance of winning something. Either this or the Europa, and possibly the Europa League, but that's going to be a tough task. We're out of the FA Cup. We've got no chance in the Premier League. Absolutely no. We're 27 points behind. So this could be our only trophy we win. And this is what we've been saying over the years, that we just want to win trophies.
You're right, Seb, but it's funny you say that because you got to remember one thing: we went 9 years without silverware. That seems to be lost.
And what everyone wouldn't stop going on about it. It was like their favourite subject. But now you're seeing teams like Tottenham and Liverpool go through exactly this. But
definitely, yeah. I mean, you're right.
Half as much.
Well, I feel Arsenal got it from all over the media and all over the other fans. But I think Spurs fans. I think the trouble with Spurs is that there's a project. You can actually see that they're going in the right direction, and that in terms of like
true.
becoming a big team. Now you can slag them off all you like and make fun of the fact they won't go win trophies, but you ask any Arsenal fan, they would love to, like be in Spurs' positions where they have a very good chance of doing well in the Champions League. The league's probably too often,
Well, the
but
league's too far off.
Yeah, but there's no doubt they're a better football side than us. That's a fact.
At the moment, yeah, we have to admit that. As much as I hate to admit it, they've just proved it that they are.
Well, you got to realise, right? Before we were Arsenal fans, we were football fans, and football's football. You can have all your rivalry and everything, but don't kid a kidder when it comes to football opinion. If you love football, then you'll tell the truth about certain teams. You can always be like I said, loyal to your team, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can be as loyal as you like, or partisan. That's the word I was looking for. But if you know anything about football, you'll have to admit that Spurs are a better side than us.
At the moment, yeah,
for any Arsenal fan to deny it, then they haven't got they haven't got a Scooby Doo about football for them to say that we're better than Spurs. We're not. We're not even close. I think individually
they haven't.
But I think individually we're probably better than them in certain areas, especially in attacking areas potentially. But as a team, they're much better. As a team, a compact team, they're better, and they've got a better coach.
They have, simple as that. And with them, you can say they are going in the right direction because for now 100%. They're actually competing with the likes of Real Madrid and Juventus. They're actually competing with them. Well, compare that to the last few times we played Bayern Munich. It's pretty clear, and that's what makes me gutted and sad.
Yeah, but
they're playing those teams, and we're in the Europa League playing rubbish teams.
But as I said before, you've got to remember one thing, right? You got to remember one thing about the football and Tottenham as well is that they got to identify a way of playing. You know what I mean? They got a structure when they play. When you watch Arsenal play, you just get the feeling that they're making it up as they go along.
Yeah. This weekend is so important that we get this right. And what we're always saying is that, yes, Arsenal can beat anyone in world football on their day. But that's not good enough because we need to be doing it on a consistent basis. And this is what I've been saying. Yes, as much as I would love us to win this, and as much as I want to win trophies, I know I don't want this to paper over the cracks and think everything's all right. Just like the FA Cup did. As much as I loved them and as much as, of course, like I said, I don't want this to paper over the cracks because I still think in the league we're miles off and we're not. And in Europe, we're miles off. And this is a thing that... Do you agree with me there?
I'm going to agree with you, mate. I'm going to agree with you because what's happening is that's the way things are. And that's why the transition has to take place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion. But what's happened is that can only take place when Arsene is no longer our manager.
Yeah, and I really want him gone so badly.
Yeah, and it's not personal.
Most fans do.
Yeah, well, you got trouble is that I think even the people who want him out are divided, which is pathetic, really. You got people who are slagging off people going protest because you want Arsene Wenger gone and you think he should go, but you're slagging off fans who go on a protest. I don't understand why you're doing that.
Yeah, well, that's the only way that's going to get him out. Fans have the absolute right to protest because they're fed up.
So they're slagging off the protest. You want Arsene Wenger gone. You say you want Wenger gone, but you're criticising people going to protest because they're being disrespectful to Arsene Wenger. But you want him out. So aren't you being just as disrespectful to Arsene Wenger by wanting him out? Just as disrespectful as me and you were when we went on the protest. What's the difference? Do they feel some sort of guilt about wanting to go? Does wanting the best for Arsenal make you feel guilty? Because it doesn't make me feel guilty.
No,
I'm proud of the fact that I want Arsene Wenger replaced. Not because I've got anything against him personally. It's because I want Arsenal to get back to where they should be, which is at the top of English football.
Definitely.
It's not personal against Arsene. Not personal. It's just football reasons. I don't care whether he spends £1 on a player or not. I don't care about his personal life. I think he's a lovely man, but he's just not the right man for the club, the job. It's not personal.
I think it's gone too far for him, and and we need changes because, like we said, this shouldn't be the main priority. Yes, if you get to a final, of course. Yes, of course, I'd like to win everything, and yes,
Yeah, of course.
as much as I love it, but we should be doing better because we're way off in the league.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, you've got to ask yourself a question. Arsenal himself has always put the Champions League and the league as the forefront of his ambitions. So we're only replicating what Arsene wants. Obviously, he's going to enjoy a day out. He wants to win the cup competition. He wants to win the FA Cup. But Arsene himself, this is not his priority. And even Arsene wouldn't be satisfied with the fact with these FA Cups in the league. He wouldn't be. The Arsene we know wants to win the league again. The Arsene we know wants to win the Champions League. He's desperate for it.
He's not doing everything we can. So he's always saying it in all his press conferences. Like when he signed the contract, he was saying that, but it's pretty clear. He's not doing it seriously. I'm sure he'd love to win it. Yeah.
I think the trouble with Arsene is that Arsene's got an identified way of playing football, and he wants to do it his way. And I think that's where I will clash with Arsene to the extent that we keep on making the same mistakes as ever. And what's happening is that the mistakes we make are not just repetitive, but they're getting worse and worse. And like I said, the performances away from him are getting worse and worse. And that's why I've wanted Arsene replaced for a long time. Because you've got to realise is that we don't have the security blanket of Champions League football or the fact that we're always near the top of the table, third or fourth.
Probably not that anymore. Yeah. And we're not let's be honest, we're the sixth best team in the league at this point in time.
Yeah, but
I don't like it. I want to be 1, 2. I want that.
I hear what you're saying, Seb, but this has been coming for a while. This has been coming for a good few years.
Yeah, some kind of story is coming.
Yeah, what's happening is that we've papered over the cracks for such a long time, Seb, that we've always held on to the fact we got Champions League football, we finished above Tottenham, and that kind of sort of gave us the sort of it sugarcoated every where we were as a club. But what's happened is that teams like Tottenham have got stronger, Man City got stronger, Man United are coming back to the best, Chelsea are strong, Liverpool got
as well.
So what's happening with all these teams getting stronger? We're getting left behind.
Definitely, and I seriously think I've said it for a long time. Wenger should have gone after that FA Cup win against Hull in 2014. That's when it should have.
I agree with you. Even though I wanted him out before, if he goes winning the title, then he goes with the roof will come off, innit? The roof will come because there'll be so much applause and gratitude towards him, and there's going to be very much little defined. There's going to be a few dissenters, probably like me, but wouldn't be that divided. Now, if he does go this season or the season afterwards, it's not going to be the sort of fanfare that I suppose that a lot of his believers think he deserves. And that what happens when you overstay your welcome in any way of life, not just in a job, but in terms of like you visit a restaurant or you visit someone's house. They all love you being there, but when you outstay your welcome, like I said, goodbyes is probably through gritted teeth, and it's a shame, but that's the thing. But one thing we got to conclude on is that we've got to leave all that behind because we've got a very big game tomorrow.
It's
not a case of going at bad time. You've got to go out there and enjoy yourself. You've come all the way. You're coming all the way from your home to come there. I'm leaving my wife and kids to go and watch the game. You need to go and have a good day out. Forget about all of that. Just have a good day out. Enjoy yourself. And that's what Cup Finals are about. It's a day out for the fans. And it's not just for the fans who go there. It's a day out for fans who are watching it on TV all over the world. They're getting excited. Then they're shopping, getting their mates around. And they're looking forward to a big game. And I think that's, for one day only, let's have a laugh. Whatever happens, happens,
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll conclude, and we will, conclude it there because that's just the main message for all Arsenal fans. Wherever you're watching it, enjoy the game. And if you go into the game, enjoy it at Wembley because it is just a nice day out. And let's hope. Let me
say something now. Conclude. There's not just 30. There's not just like 40,000 Arsenal fans going to be behind the team. There's going to be fans. There are going to be millions and millions of fans all over the world and all over the country backing the boys.
Oh,
so, like I said, they're all part of it. We're all part of this. It's not just the fans who go. You know,
Oh yeah, even the
TV,
ones who are going to the live
yeah,
Emirates and streaming, even the ones
TV,
across the world,
yeah,
ones who are watching it
TV.
at home.
You know, like I said, fans who can't go, it just seems important. Remember, they contribute to the club just probably a bit more than me and you. We pay for our tickets, but these guys are getting up early in the morning to watch us play. Or some of these guys are buying more merchandise than we'll ever buy. So they're part of they're part of this, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, I totally agree. And we'll wrap it up there. So thank you very much, Kenny, for joining me, and always good to hear your views on the
Definitely.
game. And yeah, and let's have a little prediction. Do you think we'll leave the game with the trophy? What do you seriously think? Let's just have a little bit.
Do you want me to be honest? No. I think it'll be a very good firm of football. I think Man City win 3-1.
All right, fair enough. I'm going with a 2-1 win to Arsenal. I think we'll turn up again, and I think
Oh, I'm
we'll
on your
do it.
side, mate. I'm on your side. But you've got to realise one thing, that every time I pick Arsenal to lose a big game, I'm always wrong. So maybe
But
I'm
we
doing
said
it.
that against Chelsea last season, and
Yeah,
we said that against Man City in the cup last season,
yeah.
and we do it. We do seem to do better actually when we're underdogs.
Well, what you've got to realise, right, is that when you play your rivals or big clubs, they're going to be on the attack. So it's going to give us more room to play our football anyway. So when we get to play our football, we kill teams, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, we'll conclude it there. Thank you very much, viewers, for watching, and thank you very much to those people who haven't subscribed. Please subscribe if you haven't done. Let me know in the comments below whether you what your predictions of the game, how you're feeling, are you excited, are you going,
Hmm.
or wherever you're watching it, just enjoy the game and let's hope for another trophy. And come on, you Reds.
Come on, you Reds.